Unfortunately, my audio cut out here again due to that seg fault, and if you just noticed then when I checked to see if it failed, it looked like it just hadn't failed yet, so I didn't notice the failure for the rest of the recording, unfortunately. So I'll just do some light voiceover for this. Here we're just trying to get the positioning correct in response to key movement, or in response to the left and right arrows. And it looks like that's working. Clearly contemplating something here, but I admit it's been quite a while since I recorded this video to when I'm now editing it. So my memory of what I'm contemplating is not particularly good. Clearly thinking about an off by one error in memory in the mem move there. This text box turned out, and in fact it's still not done. I moved on to other things in the interest of getting a minimum viable product. But this box turned out to be far more complicated than it had any right to be. I really didn't realize how messy of a widget this was. There's a lot that's going on in the humble text box. The simple case is not too bad. The simple case is, well, it's pretty much done. We handle it other than the cursor indicating what has been, the cursor only works if it's right at the beginning. We don't draw it for anywhere else. And other than allowing the user to click in between characters to set the cursor. The cursor just gets set to the same place every time at the moment. So the simple case is not too bad. It's mostly done. But there's a lot of just unexpected state that you need to keep track of. I generally try to avoid creating more state if I can. If there's a big performance impact, I don't mind caching things. I think that's a decent reason to add the state. But in general, I try to compute from as little state as possible. Again, there's a performance trade-off there, and that's a consideration that I'll look at. But I don't like just adding a whole bunch of stuff to a struct when you should be able to logically compute that from a smaller amount of state. This does mean that I need to, or I do at least, maybe I don't need to, but I spend quite a bit of time thinking about what is the smallest amount of state we actually need in the program in order for it to work, in order to be able to compute everything we need. And I'm quite hesitant to adding more state. So this does slow down development a little bit, but I don't mind it so much. I think it's worth stopping to think about, these things. Yeah, handling the key presses here is also deceptively tricky. You can see I'm adding a to-do because the delete key currently doesn't do anything. But because we're managing this memory ourselves, in the sense that, you know, we're not using a language that supports easy slicing and automatically manages the memory onto the hood. Because we're doing that ourselves, it's deceptively tricky to just delete a character from a string. I mean, tricky is maybe not the right word. The deceptive is maybe doing a lot of work there. It's not that tricky, but there's just cases that you need to consider. I think this is where I decide not to worry. Oh, there you go. Turns out that's where I decided to leave it. So that'll be all for now.